Welcome you to the next session on Python programming course. We are currently in module 2 and we had already discussed functions, modules, and we are currently talking about the file handling, in which we had already covered what do you mean by a file, what are the different operations that can be performed on a file, how to open a file, what are the different access modes of a file opening. Then we had seen some of the examples also. Then in our previous session we talked about what are the different attributes of a file object. Then what are the different methods like read, read line, read lines, close, then write method, write lines method. All those things we discussed in our previous session. So in this video we are going to talk about some more methods of file object which are again used for various operations. These are the methods we will be talking about today. The file number is one of the methods of file object which will be returning an integer number, right? So it will be returning an integer number which represents the stream, or you call it as file descriptor of the file descriptor of the file. So each and every file when you open, it will have an integer number which is the FD, you call it as file descriptor. It is actually the operating system will be creating a file descriptor when you open a file, right? So that file descriptor will be returned by this particular method. Then we have another method called a Seekable, which returns whether the file allows us to change the file position, right? Because we had already seen in all these methods, we had seen right where the operations can be performed, right? The method read method, then the when you open, let us go to the open access modes. In all these open access modes, you could see the file pointer exits at the beginning of the file. The file pointer is at the beginning of the file. The file pointer is at the beginning of the file. You can see here, whenever you open a file, the file pointer will be at the beginning of the file. So sometimes you may want to change the position of that particular file. You want to change the position of the file pointer for that matter, right? So you want to change the file pointer position so that you don't want the pointer to be at the beginning. You want the pointer to be in some particular position. In that case, you want to check whether the file allows you to change the file position or not, for which I can use the Seekable method. So a file is seekable only if it allows access to the file stream. So only if it allows you to the file stream, you can change the file position to a particular character. Okay, so that is what the Seekable is used for. It will return true or false whether the file allows you to change the file position or not. Then you have the seek method. The seek method is used to change the file position, right? It is used to change the file position to the specified position, or you call it as to offset bytes. It will change the file position to the offset that is specified in the seek method as an argument. We will be discussing an example also. And apart from that, it can also have like from where you want to seek, whether you want to start, you want to seek from the starting, or you want to seek from the current position, or you want to seek end. So those kind of references can also be given in the seek method. Then you have tell method, which will return the current file position. So at which particular character the file pointer is pointing to, that value will be returned. Then truncate will resize the file. Suppose if you have 100 characters and you want to resize the file to 5. right? 5 characters, or you want to resize it to 50 characters, then you can use the truncate method. Then you have the writable method. The writable method returns whether the file can be returned to or not, right? Whether you can write to the file or not can be identified using the writable method. Okay. So let us go to the example code snippets of all these different methods like file number. So file number returns an integer which is the file descriptor of the file. Whenever an operating system opens the file, it assigns an integer number, a file descriptor to that particular file. So that will be returned here. Seekable will say whether the file allows you to change the file position for reading or writing. Then seek will change the file position if it is seekable. Then tell will return the current file position. Truncate will resize the file. Resizing the file means it is going to trim. Like if you have 10 characters and if you truncate it to 5 characters, then the last 5 characters will be removed from the file. So that is what you call as truncating. And writable will say whether you can write into the file or not. Okay, so let us go to the spider. I'm going to open the spider and let us see the demo programs, right, or code snippets for all these examples. Okay, yeah, so the first method here you can observe I'm going to have this demo. Here I'm having the file called demo file new. I'm going to open this file and I'm going to display the contents of that particular file. So let us start from here. I'm going to comment all the other statements, correct? Okay, I have commented. I'm going to run this program. When I run it, yeah, it says the file pointer position is 0. So that means in the beginning, because I just opened the file. And it says the file pointer position is, I use the tell method. You can see here we had seen the tell method is returning the current file position. So when you open the file in the read mode, we had seen when you open the file in the read mode, the file pointer will be at the beginning. So when it is at the beginning, obviously the first character will be at position 0. So it says the file pointer position is 0. And let us see whether I have any content in that particular file. It is actually available in desktop, demo file new. So there is no content. So let us have some content here. X, Y, Z, A, B, B, B. Okay, so these are some of the values I'm going to just save in my file. Okay, I have saved it. I'm going to close it. Let us go to the spider. Yeah, let us see now. I run the program. You can observe it says the file pointer position is 0 because the pointer will be at the beginning, and I have the read method, so it reads the entire contents of the file, and then I have all these contents. Okay, now after reading the entire contents, if I repeat the same statement, you can observe the file pointer position now, right? So I'm going to run it now. You can see here, first the file pointer position is at 0 because it is in the beginning of the file, and once it reaches the end of the file, it is at the position 101. So that means 101 characters I have, right? And you can observe the new line character here. I press the enter key in the file. So this new line character will also be counted as one of the characters in that particular file. Okay. So the tell method returns the file pointer position, and we had seen when you open the file, immediately the file pointer will be at location 0. Then after reading the entire contents, I am using read. Okay, now if you want, instead of let me remove all variables, and I am going to clear the console. Let us use read line method. I am using read line method. Now you can observe what is the file pointer position. See, the first file pointer position is at 0. After I read one line, the file pointer position is 11, right? So earlier what we had for read, it was 101, right? Whereas when I use read line, it reads only one line from the file, and the file pointer position is now in the next line. So I have the file pointer position as 11. So you can see here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 X, and one new line character is counted here. Okay, so that is how the tell method works. Okay, then let us see the file number method. File number method, what is the purpose of file number method? It returns a file descriptor of the file. Okay, so let us see. I clear the console. I am going to read it again. The file pointer position, this one, this tell method. The first tell method says file pointer is at position 0. This tell method says file pointer is at position 0, and I use the read line for reading one line of the file, and it says file pointer position is now 11, and it gives the file number, which is the file descriptor. So file descriptor is now 43. So this is some random number which will be assigned by the operating system, and it need not be always 43, right? When you close your machine and when you run it again after opening your spider, by the time it may not be 43, it may be some other file descriptor. Okay, then next method that we are going to see is whether it is seekable or not. I am going to print whether it is seekable or not using the seekable method. So let us clear the console. I run it again, and it says file seekable. It is true, right? It is true. That means you can change the position of the file. This is a plain text file, so it allows you to change the file pointer position. Okay, so that is why it gives you, seekable gives you the true value, which is a boolean value. Okay, then let us take the seek method. Seek method is used for changing the file pointer position. It is used for changing the file pointer position. Okay, now when I am going to run this, I change the file pointer position to 10. Then I ask the system to display the file pointer position. After file pointer position is changed, I am going to read. Then I am going to ask the system to tell where is the file pointer position. This is what I am doing. Okay. You can observe here the file pointer position is 11, but I am going to change it to 10. So if you want, let us have it as read line. Let us have a read. So what happens? The entire contents will be read. Let us have this. Okay, I have changed the read line method to read method, so that we are going to read the entire contents. Okay, so let us run the program again. I run the program. You can observe the file pointer is at position 0. I read the entire contents, so it comes to 101 as the file pointer position, and the file descriptor with the file number method I get 43, and the file is seekable, of course it is true. Okay, now what I am going to do, I just show you like I'm after reaching 101, it has reached the end of file, okay. And now if you try to print, file object dot read, okay, it is not going to show you the contents because the file pointer is at the end of the file. Let us just say file contents now, okay. Observe here, I am opening the file and I ask the system to tell the file pointer position. It says 0. I am reading and it reaches the end of file. Then I print the file number and I check whether it is seekable. Okay. Now, after reaching end of file, if you try to use the read method, let us see what happens. I run it. What happens now? There is no content displayed here. That means it has reached the end of file, right? So the file pointer is now at the end of the file. After it reaches end of file, if you try to read again, what happens? It cannot display any content. So because there is no content after the end of file. So nothing is printed here. Okay. Now what I am going to do, I am going to change the file pointer position. I am going to change the file pointer position. I change the file pointer position to 10. Then I am going to get the result of tell method, which will return the file pointer position. After the file pointer position is changed, I try to read. And again I ask it to tell the file pointer position. Okay, so just a demo. Let us clear the console. I run the program again. Observe what is the output you are getting. See, file pointer position is 0. Okay, because you open just, then you use the read method, this read method. Then read method reads the entire content. Then again you ask the system to display the pointer position. So it says 101. Then file descriptor is 41 this time. Observe here, earlier it was 43, now it is 41. So that means the operating system is the one which will, whenever you open your file, it assigns some random integer. Okay, so now it is 41. Now you are going to check whether it is seekable. Of course it is seekable. And since it reaches the end of the file, when I try to read the contents again, what it says? There is no data after the end of file. So nothing is printed. Now what I did, I changed the file pointer position. I changed the file pointer position to 10. Then using the seek method, you can change the file pointer position. Now when I ask what is the file pointer position, it says 10. Then after the file pointer position is changed, again I try to read the file. See, after 10 characters, because the first 10 characters are this one, right? 10x are there. So 10x is not considered. After, because file pointer position is changed, no? File pointer position is not now 0, it is now 10. That means it has to read the characters from 11th position. So from the 11th position, I have a new line character and all these things are there. 11th position is new line character and all these values are there. So I get new line character here, then the y value, all these things, and I reaches the end of file. So the file pointer position is now 101, right? So this is how the seekable, seek, tell and file number methods work. Okay. Now again I am going to show you. See, here we changed it to 10, then we are getting without x. Okay. Now again what I do, I am going to change the file pointer position to 0. I change it to 0. Then after the file pointer position is changed to the beginning, I am going to read it again. So let us see what happens. Let us run the program. I run the program. You can observe. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, because I have this triple quoted quotes string literal, it has to start here. Okay, so that is the error. Okay, so now again we are going to run the program. You can observe. What happens. File pointer position is 0, so it printed everything, all the contents. File pointer position reaches end of file, and you can observe here again file descriptor value has been changed. Okay, then since the file pointer is at the end of the file contents will be nothing, and now I am going to change the file pointer position to 10. So the first 10 characters are not printed, the remaining contents are printed on the monitor, and it reaches the end of file. Now again I try to change the file pointer position to 0 using seek. 0, I changed it to the beginning. So I get now right from the first character, I get the entire contents. Okay. Then I am going to just check whether it is writable. Of course it is not writable. Why it is not writable? Because I opened the file in the read mode. So when I checked whether the file object is writable, it says false. Whether file is writable, this value I tried to print, it says file is not writable. It gives false value. And then I close the object. I close the file object. Okay. Now I am going to, next what I am going to do, I am going to open the file. I close the file, no? I already closed the file. Now I am going to open the file in R+ mode, because I am going to use the truncate method. Truncate method will be resizing the file. What do you mean by resizing the file? It is going to delete the contents of your file. So if you want to delete the content, the file must be in the writable mode. So I am going to use R+. If I use R+, the file will be opened in both read and write mode. Then I am going to just truncate to 15 characters. I am going to truncate it to 15 characters. After the file gets truncated, I try to read it, and then again I am going to close it. Okay. Yes. Let us comment the rest of the contents. Fine. Okay. I am going to run the program again. I am going to run it. Now, after the file gets truncated to 15 characters, this is the original file, right? This is the contents of the original file. Now, I am truncating it to 15 characters. So, you will get only these and these 5 characters. You can see here 10 characters of X, then 1 new line character, then 4 Y characters are taken, because I asked the system to truncate to 15 characters only. And you can observe, if you are not giving any argument in the truncate, if you don't give any argument in the truncate, it will be deleting the entire contents. Okay, when you try to read it, it will give you nil value. Okay, so let us try truncate without argument. You can observe I am opening the file in the read write mode again, because I have already closed it. So I am opening it again and I am going to truncate it without passing any argument. So obviously it is going to delete the entire contents of the file. Then I am going to simply check whether it is writable or not. So let us see what happens. I clear the console. I run the program. You can observe, after the file gets truncated to 15 characters, I am having these, and sorry, okay, let me clear the console again. After I am going to get truncated to okay, here I am not giving any argument. You can observe I am not giving any argument here, right? So let us check now what happens. Okay, so after the file gets truncated, oh, it is already truncated, right? Okay, yes. Let me open the file again. There is no content here because I truncated it, right? So let me have A, B, C. So let me just save it. I go to this one. Okay, so what happens now? Let us clear the console. Okay, let me comment it so that let us see the output first, then we will do. Okay, run the program. So this is it. Okay, after the file gets truncated to 15 characters, these are the 15 characters here, so it is truncating it. Now if I run this, automatically the entire contents will be deleted. Okay, so let us see what happens. See, this is the content. I am going to reload it because I have truncated to 15 characters, so only 15 characters are there in the file. Okay, now I am going to uncomment it. I uncomment and I am going to run the program again. So it is first 15 characters are truncated. After the file gets truncated, there is no content because I use this truncate. This truncate will delete all these characters. Only these many number of characters are there. So all these characters are removed from the file. So the file is now empty. And since I opened it in the read write mode, for this particular method it returns true because it is in the writable. And if you check your file, new file, you just reload it, there is no content available because I have used the truncate method. Okay, so these are the demo code snippets that you can just go through. Then you will get an idea of how the methods like file number, seekable, seek, tell, truncate and writable can be used in our program. Okay. Then apart from this, we had already discussed whenever we are handling files, we have to open the file, do the file manipulation like reading, writing, or performing some kind of operations, deleting, whatever you want you do, then you have to close the file. Now, the Python has a statement called with statement, right? With statement in Python is very handy when we have two related operations which we would like to execute as a pair with a block of code in between. In those cases, we can use the with statement, and not only that, it can also be used in exception handling to make the code much more readable and cleaner. Okay, we'll see an example, then it will be more clear for you what do you mean by this particular statement. With statement is very handy because whenever you want to perform the operation, you open it, then perform it, then close it. You often forget to close the file, obviously. So in those cases, we can go for the with statement. So observe this example. Without using with statement, you open the file, you give some file path, and you open the file in the write mode, then you write something into the file, then you have to close the file, right? Or if you are using some exception handling cases, you open the file, then you will have try block, then you will have finally block, and in the finally block you will always use the close method, so that the file gets closed even though you have exception or not. Okay, so this is the very common and general procedure that we use for file manipulation. But the same thing, right? So instead of writing like this or instead of writing like this, you can observe I can use with statement. So within these two lines, I get the work done. I say with open, I give the file path and the mode as file, right? What you do, you open it and you assign it to a file pointer, or you call it as file descriptor, or you call it as file object. So here what you do, open the file and you can say as file. So whenever you are opening, this file will be referred with this particular file object. Then you perform the operation like file dot write and the content. So what happens, just if you have just two related operations which you want to execute as a pair with block of code in between, then you can use this with statement. So whatever you want to have perform on the file, all those things you can do here as a block, then you come out of the with statement. So just perform this operation. While performing the operations using the with statement, it opens, performs the operation, and it will automatically close the file object. That is the advantage of having the with statement. So here you can observe I am not using dot close here, right, which often will be forgotten by the programmer. So now if you use the with statement, I escape from the usage of try, finally, catch blocks. I escape from the usage of the close method also. So all these things will be replaced by the with statement. So that is the advantage of using with statement. Okay. So any file handling, if you have very simple tasks to be done in a very larger application, sometimes in one particular part of the program or in the application, you want to process something on the file and immediately you want to close. So you need not take the pain of coding all these statements. Instead, you use the with statement and you just perform the operation, and it becomes very, very easy. It is cleaner and it is more readable also. Okay. So let us stop here. We'll be talking about another module called OS module, which will help you in doing some more file manipulations in your program. Yes, so we'll be discussing the OS module in our next session. Thank you.